There are rooms we carry inside us. Spaces constructed by the mind when reality becomes unbearable. White walls. Perfect silence. And mirrors. Always mirrors. She opens her eyes to find herself in such a place. A room with no doors. No windows. Only mirrors on every wall, reflecting her from every conceivable angle. An infinite regression of self watching self watching self. But something is wrong. As she stands confused and disoriented, she notices it. One reflection. The one in the mirror behind her. It moves differently. Not opposite. Not delayed. But ahead. 3 seconds ahead. She raises her hand. 3 seconds pass. Then she raises it. No. Wait. She thought she raised it. But did she? Or did the reflection move first and she simply followed? The distinction becomes impossible to grasp. In this pristine white prison, time bends. Memory fractures. And the most terrifying question emerges. Which version is real? The woman in the mirror who seems to know what's coming? Or the woman watching who can't remember what just happened? This is the story of a consciousness trapped between moments. A mind folded in on itself. A woman who will discover that the reflection isn't showing her future. It's showing her past. A past she lives and instantly forgets. Over and over. 3 seconds at a time. Welcome to the mirror room, where the only way out is to remember. But memory is the one thing she doesn't have. The first thing she feels is cold. Not the cold of winter or ice, but the absolute cold of nothing. The temperature of empty space. Her body lies on something hard and smooth. White floor. Perfectly white. The kind of white that hurts to look at. She pushes herself up, and the room reveals itself. 4 walls. All mirrors. Floor-to-ceiling reflections creating an impossible geometry. She sees herself from the front, from behind, from both sides. Dozens of her. Hundreds. Stretching into infinite distance as the mirrors face each other. Her hands press against the glass, searching for seams, for doors, for any break in the perfect surface. But there's nothing. Just cold mirror, and her fingerprints appearing and disappearing as her palms slide across the glass. She walks the perimeter. Each corner is a perfect 90-degree angle. Each mirror flawless. The room is perhaps 15 feet square. Small enough to pace completely in seconds. Large enough to feel lost in. And then she stops. Stares at the mirror behind her. Something caught her eye. A movement that didn't match. She stands perfectly still. Watches. The reflection of her back. It moves. Just slightly. The head tilts. Then 3 seconds later, she feels her own head tilting without her conscious decision to move it. No. That's not right. She moved her head. Didn't she? She meant to. Or did she? She decides to test it. Raises her hand deliberately. The back reflection's hand is already up. Was already up. 3 seconds ago. Before she moved. But that's impossible. She lowers her hand. Thinks carefully. Decides to jump. But before she can, the reflection jumps. Then, as if pulled by invisible strings, she jumps too. Not because she chose to, but because she has to. Because the reflection shows what already happened. The horror of it settles slowly. She isn't watching her future. She's watching her immediate past. A past she cannot remember living. Panic is a living thing. It crawls up her spine. Tightens her throat. She backs away from the mirror, but there's nowhere to go. Mirrors everywhere. All showing her. All versions of her. And one showing what she just did 3 seconds ago. She decides to prove it wrong. Stands in the center of the room. Absolutely still. She will not move. Will not give the reflection anything to copy. She plants her feet. Stares at the back mirror with defiance. The reflection moves anyway. Turns to the left. Looks at the left wall. She tries to resist. Tries to keep her head straight. But 3 seconds pass and her head turns. Not because she wants it to, but because it must. Because it already did. This is worse than being controlled. She isn't a puppet with strings. She's an echo. A shadow. The reflection is the real her, moving through time normally. And she's just the delayed version, living 3 seconds in the past, experiencing everything after it already happened. She tries everything. Unpredictable movements, random jumps, spinning, falling. Every time the back reflection moves first, shows her what she's about to do, what she's already doing, what she did and forgot. She screams, but the sound doesn't come out immediately. The back reflection's mouth opens first. Silent scream. Then 3 seconds later, she hears her own voice. Or is it her voice? Is she the one screaming? Or is she echoing a scream that already happened? The distinction dissolves. She stops trying to lead, accepts that she follows, watches the back mirror and waits to see what she'll do next. What she's already done. What she's forgotten doing. Time doesn't flow forward here. Pools, circles, loops back on itself. And she's caught in the current, drowning in 3-second intervals of amnesia. She closes her eyes, tries to remember. Before this room, before the mirrors, before the white, there was something. Wasn't there? A flash. Fragmented. Rain on windshield. Wipers moving. Headlights reflecting on wet asphalt. Her hands on a steering wheel. Where was she going? Another flash. Closer. A phone screen glowing in the darkness of a car interior. A text message. She remembers reaching for it. Remembers looking down. Just for a second. Just a glance. Then light. Blinding light. Headlights. Coming toward her. Too fast. Too close. The wheel jerking in her hands. The sound of metal. The feeling of impact. Then nothing. White. Just white. She opens her eyes. Back in the mirror room. Her hands instinctively go to her face, checking for injuries, for blood. But her skin is perfect. Her clothes pristine white. No damage. No wounds. How? She looks down at herself. White shirt. White pants. When did she change? She doesn't remember. Can't remember. The last thing before waking here is the crash. The terrible moment of collision. Then white. Then this. Is she dead? Is this death? A white room with mirrors? Trapped in 3-second memory loops? Is this hell? Or purgatory? Or something worse? She checks her pulse. Feels it. Weak but present. She's breathing. She thinks she's breathing. But is she? Or is the reflection breathing and she's just copying the motion? Questions multiply. Answers vanish. She sits down in the center of the room, surrounded by infinite versions of herself. All sitting. All questioning. All lost. The mirrors offer no comfort. Only endless recursion. Herself watching herself watching herself. Forever. She studies the pattern. Watches the back mirror with scientific detachment. If she can understand it, maybe she can break it. There must be a way. There's always a way. The reflection stands. She counts. 1, 2, 3. Her body stands. Not because she willed it, but because the pattern demands it. Cause and effect reversed. Effect first, then cause 3 seconds later. But what if she fights it? What if she refuses to follow? She watches the back mirror carefully. The reflection walks to the right, toward the right wall mirror. She tenses every muscle, locks her knees, forces herself to walk left instead. 2 steps. She manages 2 steps to the left. Victory surges. She's breaking the pattern, breaking the loop. Free will exists. She can choose. She can. The force hits her like a physical thing. Invisible. Undeniable. Her body jerks violently to the right, dragged by strings she cannot see. She stumbles, catches herself against the right wall mirror, exactly where the reflection showed she would be. The pattern reasserts itself. Destiny wins. Free will was always an illusion. And then something worse happens. The back reflection smiles. A small knowing smile. Not happy. Not cruel. Just knowing. The smile of someone who's seen this play out before. Many times. 3 seconds pass. She feels her own mouth forming the same smile. Not because she's amused, but because that's what she did. 3 seconds ago. In a moment she cannot remember. She smiled. And now she's copying herself. The horror deepens. She's not trapped by some external force. She's trapped by herself. Her own actions, instantly forgotten, become the prison. She's her own jailer. Her own prisoner. Locked in a cell made of erased memory. Details emerge when you stop fighting. She sits. Breathes. Looks at the room with fresh eyes. What did she miss? What's here that she hasn't seen? The floor. She examines the perfectly white floor more carefully. And there, in the corner, so faint she almost misses it, scratches. Thin lines etched into the white surface. Made with fingernails maybe. Or something sharp. Evidence that someone else was here. Or evidence that she was here before and forgot. She crawls to the corner. Traces the marks with her finger. They form letters. Words. A message scratched into the floor by someone desperate to leave information behind. Not future past. 3 words. Everything changes. The reflection isn't showing her 3 seconds into the future. It's showing her 3 seconds into the past. She's not seeing what will happen. She's seeing what already happened. What she did and immediately forgot. The paradigm inverts. The back mirror doesn't predict her movements. It remembers them. It's her external memory. The only record of actions her damaged brain cannot store. She stands slowly. Approaches the back mirror. Both versions reach toward the glass simultaneously. Not synchronized. But the reflection is 3 seconds behind this time? No. She's 3 seconds behind. The reflection did this already. She's catching up. Always catching up to her own past. Her finger touches the cold mirror surface. She stares at herself. At what she was 3 seconds ago. A ghost of immediate past. Haunting her present. She lives in a continuous present moment with no memory of what came before. 3 seconds ago might as well be 3 years ago. It's equally gone. The room isn't a prison. It's a visualization. Her mind trying to make sense of damaged consciousness. The mirrors are memory. The 3-second delay is her amnesia. She's not trapped in a room. She's trapped in the single moment of now. Always now. Never then. Never next. Just this eternal forgetting now. Understanding brings no comfort. Only deeper horror. She decides to test it. To prove it to herself. She makes a peace sign with her fingers. Watches the back mirror. The reflection's hand already shows the peace sign. Made 3 seconds ago. In a moment she cannot recall. She has no memory of deciding to make that gesture. No memory of raising her hand. No memory of forming her fingers into that shape. But she did. 3 seconds ago. And she's watching proof of it in the mirror. Every action she takes vanishes immediately from her mind. The mirror becomes her only evidence of existence. If she doesn't look at the reflection, did she even move? If no record remains, did the action happen? She spins frantically, checking all the mirrors. The front ones show present. The back shows immediate past. The side mirrors show different angles. She tries to piece together a coherent timeline. But it's impossible. 3 seconds isn't enough time to form memory. Not enough time to create continuity. She exists in isolated moments. Islands of consciousness in an ocean of forgetting. The back reflection walks to the corner. Kneels. 3 seconds pass. She finds herself kneeling in the corner. She has no memory of walking there. No memory of lowering herself down. One moment standing. Next moment kneeling. The transition erased. How many times has this happened? How long has she been here? Hours? Days? In a space with no memory, time has no meaning. She could have lived this same pattern 1,000 times, discovered the truth 1,000 times, and forgotten it every 3 seconds. The tears come then, not from sadness, from the sheer exhaustion of existing without continuity, of being conscious without connection between one moment and the next. She's alive, but is living without memory really living? Or is it just experiencing death over and over, dying every 3 seconds, reborn with no knowledge of previous death? The room flickers. Or does it? She sees something else, superimposed over the white. A flash of red and blue lights. The sound of rain. The smell of gasoline and twisted metal. Car crash. The memory surfaces like a drowning person breaking water's surface. She was in a car. There was rain. A phone. She looked down. The impact. The terrible sound of her own body breaking. She touches her head. There's no wound, but she feels it. Phantom pain. Where the steering wheel hit. Where the glass cut. Where the trauma fractured something vital. Not her skull. Her mind. Her memory. The part that stores experience. The part that creates continuity. This room isn't real. Not physically. Psychological. Mental. Her consciousness constructing a space to make sense of damage it cannot process. The white is shock. The mirrors are her trying to see herself, to confirm she still exists. The 3-second delay is the time it takes for short-term memory to transfer to long-term storage. A transfer that no longer works. The mirrors crack. Thin spiderweb fractures spreading across the glass. Her mind is fragmenting further. The construct weakening. How long before it collapses completely? How long before the white room dissolves and there's nothing left but darkness? She looks up. The fluorescent lights flicker. The walls pulse. Breathe. The room is alive. Or dying. Same thing. Her consciousness is alive and dying, maintaining this simulation while the body that houses it slowly fails. In the back mirror, for just a moment, she sees different clothing. Hospital gown. Medical bracelet. Tubes. She's not in a white room. She's in a hospital bed. Dying. The mirror room is her mind's last attempt at coherent thought. A final dream before the end. The revelation should bring fear. But instead she feels calm. Understanding. The back mirror shows her lying down on the floor. Returning to the starting position. She watches herself do it 3 seconds ago. Now she does it. Not fighting. Just accepting. She lays down in the center of the white floor. Exactly as she was when she first opened her eyes. The cycle completing. The loop closing. How many times has she done this? Woken. Discovered the mirror's secret. Realized the truth. Then forgotten it all and begun again? Her vision blurs. The harsh fluorescent lights become soft. Sounds fade to distant muffled noise. She's losing consciousness. Or gaining it. Hard to tell which direction she's moving. Toward death or away from it. The mirrors are perfect again. The cracks gone. The room pristine. Everything reset. The loop demands perfection. Each iteration identical to the last. Same discovery. Same horror. Same acceptance. Different only in that it feels like the first time. Always the first time. Her eyes close slowly. Not fighting it. A single tear escapes. Rolls down her temple. Dampens the white floor beneath her head. The last physical evidence of this iteration. Of this version of herself that discovered and forgot. The loop will continue. Must continue. Until the body in the hospital bed finally stops. Until the machines are turned off. Until the family says goodbye. She'll wake here again. Discover again. Forget again. A consciousness trapped in its own recursive function. Sisyphus pushing the same boulder up the same hill. Except she doesn't remember the previous attempts. Is there mercy in that? In forgetting the tragedy each time? Or is it crueler? To experience the same horror infinite times, always fresh, never numbed by repetition? Somewhere outside the mirror room, machines beep. Heart's rhythm displayed on screens. Brain activity showing as lines that grow flatter with each passing hour. Doctors speak in low voices. Families make impossible decisions. The woman in the mirror room doesn't hear any of this. Doesn't know that her body lies in ICU. Doesn't know about the accident 3 days ago. Doesn't know about the traumatic brain injury. The massive damage to the hippocampus. The region that forms new memories. But on some level she understands. The mirror room shows her. Not explicitly, but in metaphor. In symbol. The white walls are the blank slate where memories should form but don't. The mirrors are her trying to see evidence of her own existence. The 3-second delay is the exact time it takes for short-term memory to become long-term memory. A process her brain can no longer complete. She presses her forehead against the mirror. Whispers something. The back reflection whispered it 3 seconds ago. Let me go. 2 words. Repeated in infinite regression. Each version of her in each mirror speaking them. All asking for the same release. The 4 mirrors begin showing different times simultaneously. The past accident. The present hospital room. A possible future funeral. And her here in the mirror room. All moments existing together. Time collapsed into a single space. Past, present, future overlaid. The way a dying brain experiences time when linear sequence breaks down. But her face shows peace. Not fear. She understands now. This is her mind's way of processing death. The room is a buffer. A waiting space. The 3-second loop is her consciousness shutting down gradually. Not all at once but in stages. Giving her time to accept. Time to let go. Even if she forgets the acceptance every 3 seconds, each moment of peace makes the next slightly easier. Something changes. The back reflection stops moving ahead. For the first time, it synchronizes perfectly with her movements. No delay. Past and present merge. The temporal barrier dissolves. She raises her hand. The reflection raises it simultaneously. She smiles. It smiles with her. Not 3 seconds later. Right now. This moment. Together. Unified self. The fragmentation ending. The mirrors begin to darken. Black spreading from the edges inward like ink dropped in water. The white room being consumed by darkness. Not frightening darkness. Peaceful. Quiet. The darkness of deep sleep. Of rest. Of ending. She doesn't fight it. Doesn't run to the center to escape the encroaching black. She walks toward it. Accepts it. The mirrors have shown her everything she needed to see. Her past. Her present. Her lack of future. And now they're releasing her. Somewhere outside in a sterile hospital room, a family makes the decision. The doctor's hand moves to the machines. Life support being withdrawn. Allowing nature to take its course. Letting her go. The most loving choice possible when all hope is gone. In the mirror room, she finds the darkness isn't empty. There's a light. Small at first. Growing. In the center of the consuming black, a point of pure white light. Different from the white of the room. This white is warm. Inviting. The white of possibility rather than emptiness. She walks toward it. Each step easier than the last. The light grows. Expands. Fills her vision. Not harsh fluorescent. Soft. Gentle. The kind of light that makes everything okay. That promises rest after struggle. Peace after pain. The frame fills with white. Not the sterile white of the mirror room, but pure transcendent light. The consciousness released from the loop. From the 3-second prison. From the mirror room. Free at last. The light holds for 3 seconds. Then fades. To black. Silence. The mirror room is empty. She's gone.